about each.
This is like you join.
Yeah, and you see.
There's no camera, I think.
No, you say three
you can do
questions.
that at the
same time.
I think we have no image. Should I open the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
And audio and record.
recording. Yes.
Okay.
네, 소말라 치르들레스.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone.
네, 다 들이 니시아게 조자수데 네, 존실라르시모 사제들레스.
So today, the topic I'd like to talk about is the outlines of the great treatise on the stages of the path, or Lamrim Genmo.
네, 존실라르시모 사제 마셔빙하로다 네, 날 게샤츠 카시샤요스.
So before we start with that, I'd like to say a few words.
네, 동부때 나서 다 데리냐 도마에서 동부 나서 소마케네 몰라지자예스 몰라.
So given that today is our first class, it's the beginning, I'd like to say some aspiration prayers, set an aspiration.
네, 몰라자라 카르펜토요라zen 단가서 몰라자라네 인시멘시 nomba이고 말에 아니 출루바이고 말에 아니 수수수 마산다지나 몰라자는 그래서.
So to do this aspiration or prayer, we don't really need to be Buddhist or even religious. We don't need to be affiliated to any just religion in order to do this monlam, this aspiration.
네, 단다 동부 몰라마자 빙하라다 네, 단다 츠카시샤요스.
Okay, so I'd like to say a few words before we go into this prayer.
네, 당가서 때 다도 몬토네 가서 마셰고아에서서 다티 다우도노라네 가르시아야나 땡가서 나마시아 슈퍼마임바 조조야니아 슈퍼마임바 가서 판서 졸레도 아니 티노 존식에 사자도 돈이 타와자도 다 컨트롤도 나자자도 소치칸리 람바치네 태요나 가서 테솔라네 초타 체케체 고에나 가마치니르 가기가기도네 컨트롤이 니모 간디 가고도도 다테소 걸라 가서 바기 초타 체케체겐도 아카네 탈라테예스.
So, as for the method for this course, I wouldn't like this to be me just talking and you simply listening, but I'd like us to engage in dialogue when we are going through the text and, for example, the view of emptiness and so forth, when we're going through the disadvantages of anger, rather than just looking at the words, hearing the words. I'd like us to think about it and meditate a little bit on the meaning of the words.
텐디체나 야부 노테나가 텐디스 트레스어스 마토 나마시아 좀바도 조조야니아 좀바체네 아니 텐디스 트레스나 아서 소말라 펜토 쳔보 만켄도 치드네 소마가 티세텔라 아니 추준도 사레사서 진도스.
So I think if we do this, it would be beneficial, more beneficial than me just talking and you just listening, because in that way we engage more with the content.
네, 가서 로니 코노라 데모탄도아노제 데모탄케 파타 데모창케 컨트라노제 텐디제네 데모차차라네 체코마 텐디제나 가서 소말로 펜토몬도스.
So like when we go to the cinema, as spectators, we just, if we do it like that, if we just look at the movie and just when we are done when the movie is done, just leave, then there won't be much benefit.
텐디스서 따당하고 냐뇨도 고아 카세라라지 초솔로 마셰 네 초조 고아 카세라라지 네 초조 살루톤 네 살루톤 냥도 주더제 네 가서 레샤카레 요나 가서 소마 토묵 냥도 레샤들레네 도나 가서 그 단다 케차시아티 제데 녀리 초아초라네 베초 요아지 정선나 배하고 요사레 땡도스.
So we'll go through this, and whatever I understand, I will share with you. Whatever you understand, also I will have conversations on it. And yes, that's the way I'd like this to go.
아니 텐디지 마체는 가서 변나 컨트롤자나 네 조바 고고라자니 나마치셰 초소 controlzana zoba gogure zene ane ti tsiji kwa tsaza mato ngaso soma kane controlzana zoba kandi gogure ze tel chota tcheche ngaso jonda chi machena tinga ma shia zu choso kwa chomba tsazke ne tiskale kabures.
So it is said that if we get angry, if we start to develop anger, we should be patient and generate patience. And if we just say that, if we just stick to that and don't think about it and think about the methods on which we can, when we are developing, when we feel this anger rising, how we can develop this patience, there won't be much benefit.
Atendeten tangaso chota karambanan jokin joke ane ma nishela to chotola saka masha to raman chatindayana katuya tawat tindichane digres ngaso dolek number sai nona digres.
So as we go through this, please listen and think about this and ask questions directly. So we engage in dialogue and yes, and we can learn more.
Tati ngaso ngenduk tsat tindisheba yes.
Okay, so this was a little introduction.
Aneta taginga tombo ngaso tomal tiri mulaji jaye zata mulati ja kene ngutsuba yes. Mulati kandi jagorezana ta choroso susun dobata kanto mubala tenene mulakar jana digres. Ne ngaro ko mulat tabote karezana sunche tanshe dewato devi jeto dembar chech sunche tanshe dungato dunga jeto trawa chechi zanene ti tonene kamashis ngarungone mulati jayes ne choroso susu kanto mupa kara laten mulakar jando mula jani digres.
So now, as I said, I will do a little aspiration prayer. You may do whatever aspiration prayer you like. As for me, I'm going to be doing a prayer that says, may all sentient beings find happiness and the causes of happiness, and may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. So on that basis, I will do my aspiration for a few minutes. You may do the same or whatever you wish.
Ane tindi mola jawatike ane je parapu la ane pemba chimbo yorazane nombi sorano so yoraz. Yena yo katsa pegeyo ngaso ngusun tontu maraz. Yena ngaso ngusun tontu kayo layo ko pento kare yorazane ne susula tindi mola jana susula hachu pento chimbo yoraz.
So in general, for this particular aspiration, it is said in the Buddhist scriptures that there is great benefit on setting this aspiration. However, what benefit will come to you? It is hard to say for me, but I know for myself that when I do this aspiration prayer, there is great benefit for myself.
Tadi susul pento kandi yorezane tangaso somato dewan dobato dengamando bachibares. Yena yo tangaso dewi joto dramashi ne denga joto pomashi ne asole denga to yonga yesosa ta dewi joto to denga joponta la aso ngoje lale to gote ngandu molok ta jene shichimbo petogres.
So just like everyone else, we all want happiness and we all want to be rid of suffering. However, we don't really know the causes of suffering, and we don't know how to abandon the causes of we don't know the causes of happiness, and we don't know how to abandon the causes of suffering. So by doing this aspiration prayer, we may start to familiarize ourselves with that.
Maso soma ko susu sa chimbo tsege yores. Susu sa chimbo tsegores. Ena susu sa chimbo tseto mashina ane rono pemato jeno pemato ane kyo chimbo yogres.
So we all consider ourselves or regard ourselves highly. We all cherish ourselves, but sometimes we don't know on what basis we do that. We don't know why we cherish ourselves so much or consider ourselves so important.
Ane tanda susu sa chimbo tseza karrazana susu sa chimbo tseto tshina susu pento chimbo yores. Ti karraza susu sa chimbo susu dunga ki jeto mondoa ane dewi jeton doyo res ena te dunga ki jete poal kar resan susa chimo sal ane jeshin ze za to ane tindi ti yabo chonso na jelo pento to tindi cheso na ane suzulo pe jelo pe ane susa chimo seto te yasha tindi chare ma to suzu to ane danze to nganze shik chimo ken je yo to so na ti zaka ne azola dunga ma to dewa da to ma suzu rochin ze cheto mashina ane roje chomal kanga tegres
Godagela te yang kya so.
ros chinze nga susa chimbo sigura zara ta susa chimbo tseto mashina ne suzolo mape jeno mape nigal meba changduras ne susa chimbo tseto shina ne suzolo pe jeno pe res
Yes. So we do consider ourselves or cherish ourselves, consider ourselves as important, and we should do. Why? Because if we don't, then there is no benefit. No benefit will come to us or to others. But if we do, if we know how to cherish or to consider ourselves or to understand the importance that we have, then we will be able to benefit ourselves and others.
ane ta ngujo mulate jana suzul pegreza ta genga sheres ta pento karreza na ane suzu sakena jeno pento ka sambaji suzu de ane ta suzu ga jeno pento ja ta samje ta tanda tison ka sen de zambale mantre to tin kanga mombo tewera tison la salo to ne mantre jewi thala to tezolo salo yapo to ne gang ka ma shi jana ane ti ka sa ane san hele cha san jawa cha tin de pento chimbo yoras
So, one way to start to begin to be of benefit to others is by doing this aspiration, by reflecting on, for example, in this world there are many difficulties, many hardships happening at this moment. So by reflecting on this and wishing that beings be free from them, then we start on this process.
ane tik tanda tikona mula teba cheyo se tinga so choma ke mula tomo ke jato na yapo yores mula tikada zana konsan chok taba song res ane tanda suzu jesenje tanchela petoto na yasho res kasi jesenje tanchela pen to mato na yas jela ane no making ke chi jego zane ne tindis kilenda chi azu mula jato na ane raje choma la ne peto chimbo yores
So this aspiration is really beneficial. This is something His Holiness has stated. If we do have the wish to benefit others, then this aspiration will bring about that benefit. And even if we don't, then still by us not engaging in harming others and wishing them well, then there will also be a great benefit.
ne tanga so mula kamashi jayes ne ngaro takishiano je mula jayes ne chorozo sukanto mobile mula karjana digres
So now I will engage in this prayer, in this setting of aspiration for a few minutes, and you may do so as well, or set whatever aspiration you wish.
tango tsira
So
kamashi
we'll start. 4 minutes.
ane tandanga mula jana susul pento simbo yore shege yores. Pento janso.
So I know that by doing this, great benefit comes. Do you feel any different? Any better?
It's simo is tindi.
It's a joke.
Tindi tan jobu mashite yana mola ja tindi na susu sablela cha to jawa cha. Ne ramba jena mola to ye rembo ja kane ti jende soe chol tindi jatona ne susu kan susu ke santu nyomo to masone ne pento chimbo yoba.
So that was a joke. I don't know if great benefit can come that quickly, but if we do engage in these type of practices for a long time, it is said, it has been taught many times that it is of great benefit.
Tanda pasya tila ane susu jiwandra to ane chi makwa tindiyona tanda katu tiwatin ndires.
So, if you have any questions or anything about what we've talked so far, please ask.
Question?
Question?
Question Mindu.
Question Mindu. Online? Question? Oh.
Nghĩa là low-tech calendar textbook. Which book are we using?
Low-tech.
I'll take a picture.
We will send it to the group.
Okay, thank you.
Geshe Lharampa.
English version?
There is an English version as well, translated by the library. It's called The Essence of the Stages of the Path.
Yes, great.
这有英语版。
The essence of the
Yes, this
the
one.
essence of
This
the
one.
stage of the path.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Aneta dramena ne aso tango jungo tsene kale share yes.
Okay, if there are no questions, then slowly, we will begin.
Ane ta thoma te tande sambapu te dodi chingote share yes. Sombapu te.
So first, I would like to briefly introduce the author of the text.
Ane ta te sambapu te ne payejena ne pe kombu yer kombu kombu yer ane thombares.
So the author was born in Kumbu.
Ane chibi tisend lundabate kiluchito deja jasjagoluna ne thombares.
He was born in the year 1789.
What's his name?
His name?
Yishi Janso. Chuzong Yishi Janso.
Chuzang
First
Yishi.
na mi tomatira. Ne jima tanda titauti nzeikazo mi jimba yores.
That's his birth name. The name he was given at birth. Then he got another name.
Choncho kasne ne gomba tashirate zate no ne lanya chene deres.
So he when he was very young, he studied a little bit in a monastery called Tashirapten.
Ane tati gomba ne golu chogo kasane gomba tino ne koro gomba jemba ne ndepo losali taso zate no ne chujin zerezan ta kozo losali gomba no la nzegres.
And when he was 19 years old, he then moved to Drepung Loseling, another great monastery.
Ne Drepung Losale no la ne zene ne ko ne genye ke damba to Parma Raujon Getsa ke damba jene ne mela ishi janso metares.
So having been received or accepted at Loseling, he then got his Genyen vows and his intermediate or Getsul ordination, and he got his name Yeshe Gyatso.
Ne ta teche tene gonlu nisha satela ne gelon ke damba jindos.
When he was 26 years old, he got his Gelong vow, so his full ordination as a monk.
Ne tende chane tamate gonlu tuchirejela gomba zogdos.
And well, shortly, in brief, then at the age of 80, he passed away. This is a very brief introduction to the author.
단다 당가서 전실라로 뭐 사제 무저는 만두 나루도 단다 레저는 헬라 다 다디 간데 요메도 다디노 노테 간데 요메 어딘데 단데 된다 소티 헬은 도디시샤 베가 존데선에 된데 요레스 네 타티만 무테샤이스.
Okay, so now we will begin with the book. We'll start from the introduction, and I will very briefly go through the main points of the introduction. There's no need to go into much detail now. So I will just go through the main points on this part.
다자가 덤바게네 단다가 좀 두데름 보세sen다 다자 덤바고 손진노네 네 못에 돈이 지람바도 비동 못에 지람바잖아 람바니 소요레스 비동 어서
So our benevolent teacher, or the Buddha himself, in his discourses for the perfection of wisdom, has shown two main stages for his teaching. We have the profound stage of the path of explicit teachings regarding emptiness, and the extensive teachings of the implicit stages of the path on realization. That's a mouthful.
네 다자던 바가네 시지 투 노네 지전 장요네 공본로 돌아 다자던 바네 지전 장배요라 죠 아네 공본로 돌아 주비 타와지라 텔라 자모타젤라 레스.
So mainly then through Manjushri, the Buddha's principal disciple, all the way to Nagarjuna, we get the lineage of the profound view.
네 지자 잠바네 파파 토메라 주비네 다 맹아텔라 아네 자치 교지잖아요. 네 자가 파베요라 텐디 셰사니 초레스.
And then from Maitreya to Asanga, we get the lineage of the extensive conduct which existed in India, and these are the two main lineages.
네 다티 주바데네 치수 벨터레스 벨라 다자톰 자무타제도 자치 교지니 지마 람베제네 벨터바레스 벨터고츠바레스.
So then these teachings were spread or were taken into Tibet, these two lineages.
Teo 벨터 chulu jatra chachu panos 주지 버다 아티샤 나르스 페코 콘 다 주지와 주지니 슐루 자타 쳔시바노 주지 동아르 카살로 페이카사스 네 페이카스 콘랑아 달라마 주니가서 네 주지 버다샤 동아르 쇼 페이카사 네 베글라마 살라마 촌초자티카 네 가서 소마 로제 소마라 페비네
So these teachings came specifically through Atisha, the great Jogoje Atisha, when he visited Upper Ngari, the Upper Ngari region. He was asked by Hla Lama Janjuk Wo to please teach or bestow a teaching to the Tibetans there.
ane te kasane chujiga ne jachi chojudo zamu tajini pa chidenzene nyandenzene chonchela judomaza ti tantiki yonko sujora te tongara chosane zabares.
So then when in Upper Ngari, the great Atisha, by combining these two lineages, the lineage of the profound view and the lineage of the extensive conduct, he composed the Lamp of the Path to Enlightenment, which is the main text on which this text we're studying now is based on.
Nenga tatanda tendiman resejo de choso noalachi ladondachi noashagodes.
So if I continue with this in this way, how do you feel? Is it boring? Is it no?
Timoite kashigate ladore tindishewati ladotaba salutonga mombo dos
Ladrolana.
ladonzana ne tangaso jite chebapo to ne tindi nguyo ne samainke dong tozu ge jia jiora toba zone jindamara xia jiora
하고 맞는데.
ladong
클라돈.
latirwe latimare ladro tangaso te tinishete dong te lujit nguyo maimba suzuko noto toba zoaji tindi
알레레레레.
tindi retenge mombundos
아무도. Yeah. So I think the word here is a hagiography, which is not quite a biography of someone, but rather like a biography, sacred biography, which includes all these visions and so this is not one of those. Ladron, direbe, ayla. Ladron. Oh, like visions of God, the story of God. This.
yo
ठीक सर.
Ranjite kopa pozena
The creator God.
Pepa na jite kopa mainke damanda ke tinamanda
Dum na the logirve.
donzana lujimone mara
La.
atende ladon
Yeah, fabulous or mystical tale. Hagiography, something like that. It's like, yeah.
akodo ladon tabu mara nguyo neso chonjoke
Yeah. So this is not one of those. This is what actually happened.
Which year are we in?
11th century.
ane chozo lunga ladon tabu chi shegndo sa keno tendiji yosona ane jimane nyeni tu mara
You do it.
mar tel hado na sheati ma standa shera
Yeah.
tel hado rabu shera san suzul salun khosona ane tuand yo maras
So if we think that this is kind of a fantastic or mystical tale, then we won't pay much mind to it, much attention to it.
tate sheati ngoyo nesara san kenlo tendisiona ane nyal tuan pa to ane tigo nyawle to sola ane tono chal pento yores
So by knowing that this is historical and what actually happened, then we will get more interest in learning this, in listening to this.
ato medical hado chiksendo trena maso somal try maras
So please don't think that this is a fantastic tale.
ne tatanda te tauti ne jesa tombo konte sa chora tanda yonzei shi jansu ke susu konte ne jesa chora ti chonchi landre za teres tat tino la karason yora zena ne tanda tira yonzei shi jansu kane chonchi landre joji ganzelara ti konte ane gombo ludra to papa tome aso sora mombu chi jachambu chi ne nyawsle ane to sora to mombu lone ane sa cho jiramashi laro chimbo laso pa soma lone tako chochi tse dune ane kiwa sanji lanji ramba zane ane joja sude kiwa sanji lanji ramba zane ane tune tse dune she yores
So this text, composed by Tagu Yonzin Yeshigatso, is based on the great Atisha's Lamp of the Path to Enlightenment. And this text, so teachers like Maitreya, Nagarjuna, Asanga, they taught very extensively. And what this text is doing is taking the essence of it all and summarizing it into a single topic, which is the path for the three types of beings.
ane tanda ti joja de kiwa sanji lanji ramba tanda ngandu ngutendu di kandire zene ndudi shede shore mato ngujenguni ta jima tanda shole kashin sa mato lesa mares shole kashi jil mato ngujita ngaso nyawle kandi je gore somachik salu tonsa jiora
Jela legre.
jil soma ma legres tanda ngonru chito ti tanto yon tonto salu sato ti res shola nyesa jindo tanda.
Okay. So for this subject, which is the path for these three types of beings or three types of persons, we will now briefly go through them in an introductory kind of way, because then later, this is the main topic of the text, and each of these paths will be dealt with in great depth. So now we will do just an introduction.
ane ta mombo shena ma shena tanda tantike joja tsut kyosan ji lanji ramba za teres.
So in short, the subject for our book is the path for the three types of beings.
ane ta chozo kyosan ji lanji ramba za ne kyosan ji lan za te tanga kashiko konyo re ne kumanyun ke yos.
So this path for the three types of beings, probably some of you have heard of it, probably some of you have not. So what's the case? Have you heard of this term at all? Yeah?
ne kyosan ji lan za de kyosan ji lan de jashin ke yos.
Oh, so can you post it, or can you say which are these three types of beings?
Great, medium, and small capacity, maybe.
ya kari re na so chi jadas. chonde chas kyo chimbo kyo chong kyo re.
So the beings of great scope or great capacity, of middle capacity, and of small capacity.
ne kyo chung to ne re chimbo sa zares ta te sa de ne su salu ton to manda kande yo me ha kon ke yo es.
So
shin nga su ma nyang de jas.
what comes to mind when you hear these beings of small scope or capacity, middling scope or capacity, or great capacity or scope? What comes to mind?
ne nga tanda te tra to chozo le jikte ta ma ba che che chozo pa
So-
tra ten de ma res nga su ma shin pa za drole chen ne nyang de jana ya pon du ma to yo nga che che chen chozo le chota che ten zani ne ma res.
So this is not an exam. I'm not asking this to test you. So please don't take it as that. This is just to make
I think
conversation.
maybe can see the size of heart.
Oh, 직제나 닝기 제중 디 콜라레.
res salu ya chi chong ko res.
삼루기 제중.
Mm.
Ale. So it's regarding the size or the scope of the intention or the motivation or the way of thinking.
The
Mm.
motivation.
Samlo, yeah, the way of thinking.
ta tin non kan ne su ti ja sing ge ne jana ya pon du. nga chu bu sia ma ba non kan ne pa sa ko da da ten san sa lo nga ro lo nyo che bi jara na ten de is. san sa lo ge ge chong ba ge sia de na nyang de ne non kan lo pa sa sia na san sa re ge ge sia le ro ba su ka ya ma chi. she to ri ka su su ko che ya to. Tro de ten de yong yos. Ten de tinga ti ge cho sol te la yes.
Yeah, so I like asking these questions because for me, when, for example, when only the teacher is speaking, then it can have, it can interrupt my learning, my listening, because I can get like, some things in the body or just get a little sleepy.
Is capacity determined by our karma, or can we actually properly choose or something?
Nanso samlo de soso gile la ragle girebe yamena nanso tamka dangi yorebe.
ta nga so ti che to yo she to chi yo res. Soma le la ra le le zen ke cha she to chi yo res. Ina tanda te le kyomba ma res. Kar rezen suzu salu gyachi chon. Pena suzu salu gyachi pena leka che go sana salu shi chimbo to sashi chimbo ji yo na leka chimbo zin ra to. Ane yo salu ndende ji ma to mena leka ndende ji. Ane salu choncho ji ma to mena suzu choko ja sa ma to leka ma to. Pena tindi ti to chi ba res.
So there are various explanations. One of them does state that it does that our way of thinking depends on our karma. However, whenever we are engaging in any work, then if we do it with a great motivation or a great scope in our motivation, then there will be such and such results. If we do it with middling motivations, then there will be less results. And if we do it with a small motivation, then there won't be much benefit.
네,
초코도 애들이 하고 왔는데.
답변아 나로 살로 tonto잖아. 고알레서잖아. 기우 총자한테 간디지라잖아. 배나 나로 슈프 초코자마토 젠살로모토 수수 초코자지라. 대시부 살로 ton가지. 근데 기우 레자이나 나서 소마티노 너가 소마 초코자토 수수 소마를 디키와 대사 살로 ton. 기우 침보 얘나 답아 다라사 소마데 소마 초코자 강가 뭐죠. Atendi salu, chito salu ki chepandrado, atendi jiores. Jiu chunga zada, ngangaro shibu choko janga taa yes, susur kanga matan. Ne nibate, jiu ndrite nga su tsoma. Ne jiu chimbote, dara su tsoma. Pena tindrabo chires, salu tontote, jachi chonde.
So the difference in the scope is an example for this could be if we were beings of the smallest capacity. Then, for example, if we are hungry, we would only look at our own situation. I am hungry, and we will attend to that. If we were a being of middling capacity, we would consider or think about the hunger of all of us here in this room. And if we were a being of great capacity, we would think about, for example, the hunger of all the people all the beings in Dharamsala. So this is how the scope, an example of what this scope is, the size of the scope.
ane ta choroso tsuma tana kadino dendos jiu chimbo no dendo rega no dendo chonchon no dendos.
So which one do you think you are? The small capacity of scope, middling or big?
We want to have the bigger one.
Nasa son.
What if we are not hungry?
Choco mena karchigo. Choco mena karchigo.
Pena penso tsares choko tozat susu chip choko zaramato ta susu chip diki yo al salu tongachi to ne somar salu tongachi yo jachi ajora choko tozat penso tsares
Penso.
pe zaramato.
Yeah, it's a,
인치만 choko togo mares damata mombo yoras.
it's just an example. Like if you could do it, you could think about it in terms of you wanting to be happy and then wanting everyone in the room and so forth. The hunger bit was just an example. Ani kung kare sumbare sana nganso samlok gyachung di chempo yobagi dopa yo yena yang tanda lime sabito.
단다 ngaso jiu chimbo ndreza 단다 kozo lehlabu tsanyene mares kozo jiu chongza 단다 ngaso 단다 pinso chonchoji jara tena jiu chongza te kabrazen sindato chamanino si chamasu salu tonkashires.
So this is not regarding what you said, Isa. This is not easy at all. When we talk about, generating this great scope, when we talk about the scope, the small scope, for those beings, then if they compare this life and future lives, then future lives are more important than this one.
Pena tangarol chajana jiu chongje ta phajas ra sinda kyomba ka mochata tisamochata sindagi cha kyomba lungon khani de yores jiu chongje ichinche sindo litone sichima kyomba la salu tonga tindires.
So the beings of small capacity will use this body or abandon this body for the benefit, for for the benefit or to achieve better future lives. Ani kenagi narangi.
pena ngaron rabachina kiu chung zachi ti long no la tanda zarza le tu mares karrazana nganrabachina ti samo che de sindi ki chawa chumba longun khani tindi de yoras.
So in my case, I can't say I am even in the small capacity because, as I said before, the beings of smaller capacity will even abandon or give up this body for the sake of future lives. But I can't do that because I like, in this life to enjoy the activities, crazy activities of this life.
Nita ti jongja chene ma chi ramba chene ngote chema to. Yonga sansa zombo she den tene zo chi yo samares.
Okay, so we will now continue with the text because if we get carried away in these kinds of things, then we might not finish.
Nita do denas kya chmanga so.
There's beings with no capacity?
Semjen samlo mebe yorebe. Chung ting chewa. De mebe yorebe.
Semjel samlo meba.
Samlo
chone ngaro.
Chung meba.
Ngaro jena samlo le jachi cho mesa ka sanche che. Chone yo mare tegendos.
So I think that there is no being that does not belong to any of these.
Pena asu mata phaja salu jachi yo na tandu chenjala ne pache salu jachi cho yongkhan do bujun dos. Asu melata salu jachi cho yo ara. Yo ares. Masanda jena salu jachi cho mesa yo mares. Ne kas yona tende chirezane. Seji jatona taya pares. Luche sabares. Mata phaja tandu chi pa tsolo salu jachi cho yoras.
So even within that, there are these different sort of scopes between humans. I think it's clear, but I think that even among animals like dogs and cats and so forth, I think there are also differences in their scope.
Pena salu jachi zate pena chinda wachela se jana ani chidelo luko chicho to ani chidala sangshik chicho dabule yabu ja to macha tendisa mombodo ti chidike zubu tawchangone pacha maras salu jachi chongon chide luko chia to ani chikaji luko chonga atendedo ti to ani chikaji dabule yabu ja to dabule yabu macha chora ti chika zubu tawchangone mare tendos su chidala salu yuso salu ngone ko double
So, for example, among dogs, there are some dogs who, based on their different scopes, some of them may care for others, some of them, those dogs may, basically take care of other dogs and so forth.
And it's also a miller salu jachi mesa
So, have you seen any being who does not have any of these scopes in their motivation?
Like, I'm just wondering if I don't even believe in rebirth. I don't have any intention to change my next birth or whatever, so then I would think we might not be in the scopes at all. So that was just my question.
Ale. Gongkichiwa karedesina pana kesinga kewa ngachila yiche chonemena de kebu chenbotan trimbu lamo boya che chunguyang marewa
maras che kewa chindu choso za te lautiki tanye tino tsuchinche ne kewa yinchimanchi kya chimala salu tonkachi goras Tijong Jija Chen Kiwi Chimbo Nre Chung Zendwa. Tijija Chen Xiaote 인심은 지야 치마 살로 동가지 고라스
제창 샘첸 삼로 갸 제중 매바 요사래 봐
단다 지워 친로 살로 자치 정고네 셰레마 저도 살로 자치 정고네 셰레데 얘나 인심은 지야 치마 근데 킬랭까지로 마또 단다 정지자체나 정도 라로 치모도 정도 지자체나 지워 친부 총은 데자 타니데 지금 말했어.
Okay. So there are differences among the scope of the motivation or the scope of care of beings in general. But if we were to attain ourselves to this terminology in this book of the small capacity beings, the middling and the big, then we would need to include the future lives, caring for future lives. So in that regard, for the small, middling and big and great beings, there has to be this notion of future lives according to this Buddhist terminology. In general, there are differences in scope for beings, but maybe not they're not these terms that we're discussing here.
So he just had the example of the dogs. Do we assume that the dogs believe in a future life?
But ki denso, ki dapo chengen denso. Kewa chima la yichegi rewe nganso di samlo tango rewe.
치제 치기 답부
Ki denso, ki dapo chengen, ki jambo denso. Konso sema 제 ngachi
치대서 그자라 치정은 치정부터 된대자라
예체기를 예체였어.
대 하고 마서세 라 얘는 나타나 파제 치대서 그 지양하시자야데 살루 파제 요 말했어.
Maybe not. I don't know, but maybe not.
But also, maybe it understood that he said he was not in this whole scope because he was not able to give his body for future lives. So then it would imply that he is not in any scope. He.
According to this book.
No, the Geshe.
Yeah, yes. Kerangi narangi thone es kewochung shirshakne nadi mayen sungwa kainsena de tema di cedila
친다 수즈네 데카체나
레가체와 제창기랑 기wo 중ting 제와 말해
고용 말했어.
No.
But then there's beings that are not in the scopes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he just said all beings
Okay.
are in
Yes.
the scopes.
Okay.
When
Maybe,
I asked.
yeah, maybe I mistranslated because then he said there are differences in scope. However, if we're going to use these specific Buddhist terms, then there needs to be that future life involved.
Okay.
However, there are still differences. Even if you don't believe in future lives, there are people who care for others more than others. So there are differences in scope, but they are not these
But when we
scopes.
talk about these scopes, it can be that beings are not in them at all. That was the question.
Gala kewu chung chenpo de tanya denso pecho chene kewu sumdi maim pe kewu yorebe
요래.
yore yes
왜 뭐고 요래서.
very many
다 하정 몸버렸어. 잠벌에 자체 몽치셔도 기워 친데 총선 저거 말했어. 가르라잖아 기워 친부 이제 총어자라. 대신에 소마트 리젠트도 지양하시 킬랭케 zelamato 간도 다니든 지고요 말했어. 근데 이때 대선 잠벌에 지양하시 케말랭케 리젠트 케말랭케 하정 몸버렸어.
so there is a vast amount of beings who do not belong to any of these in this world because you have to so beings to be of this any of these three capacities they need to believe or apply the knowledge on cause and effect and so forth and therefore there are very few who do that
단다 기우친들 그다 단다 가서 공부해서 야부서 란차요 사마레스 다 내가 정론을 셰라데 마치 쳐서 되는 러시아시자다 되는 프로젝트 기우친보던 데자 간디지메 프로젝트 하콘도 그랬어 하고지 그래와요스
So I hope that by going through this text we will truly understand what is meant by these three kinds of beings.
아곤단 러시아 장게 러시아 잡고 자마토는 마셔다 라만차 강가 친구요레스 땡아냐니 다 저서 gond아자이스.
Oh, so I'm sorry if I don't have much experience in teaching all of this. Yeah.
아니 딱 기호 총어자트 가르자는 도디나스는 손지가 손라. 때문에 기와 참아 내손도 맞지 기와 참아를 내손 맞지 게 살루치 얘는 토를 하도 매 지지 먹게와 접봉비 수장동스 토리 제와라요 데위 차치 로초 타비체 짐비 떠손제 빈도는 기와 총이 딘루라 템보자 다 기와 총어자트 가르자는 손지가 손 기와 참아 내손을 맞지야도 아니 단다 몬톨 하도 매가 하도 매 기와 하도 매 기와라네 주 먹게와 접봉비 스트라송스 먹게야 자고라 먹게와 접봉네 스트라요 타고 송케지 아니 그래서 투리스 지나자는 하도 매 공부 지나요 수술라 대화차지 짐바토아토 아니 tindicha 소마테 수수 디치 코나를 살로 동게텔라 제가 총아자네 정테노라 니텐딘저도스.
Okay, so in the sutras, those that teach ethical discipline, the ethical discipline of abandoning the 10 non-virtues as the causes of not taking rebirth in the lower realms and to be born in the higher realms of gods and humans, so there are gods and humans in the so-called higher realms, and even in the case of birth in the higher status or realms, the practice of generosity and so forth as a cause of obtaining conditions of well-being like wealth, etc., explain the path of happy migration of small scope beings. So this is what small scope beings strive to do, abandoning the 10 non-virtues to attain a higher rebirth. And even if when they do attain a higher rebirth, then they practice engaging generosity and so forth to attain the conditions of happiness, such as wealth and so forth. This is their main concern.
기우총자테 만타요 먹게쳐봉 먹게야 첩봉베네 차타소 같이 니버도 고레스.
만타라나.
만타자나 다 가르자 그러가서 뇽탈라 만타자나 뇽탈라 딜릴 하마토나 먹게야 첩봉베 차타송게다 니버지 고레스.
So at most these beings strive to refrain from these non-virtues for sure. Like this is what they do. They strive to not engage in any of the non-virtues.
아니 단다까지 먹게야 쳐자지 레근도스 먹게야 첩봉베 차타스 먹게야 쳐다 아니 자요스.
So these 10 non-virtues, what are they? Which are they? Non-virtues. Miguel.
Stealing, no sexual misconduct, no harsh speech, no gossiping, no divisive speech, no malicious thought, no
greediness or like I don't understand.
Yeah.
Mine is like
coveting.
Coveting. Okay.
I think is the English.
Coveting.
Overcoming the ignorance.
Chikmato language. There's only one left.
Malevolence, yeah.
Oh,
no intoxication?
No, not in the 10 non-virtues.
먹게야 쳐데 종가자 살로토테 ane sta dibuji salu to ayores.
So there's one easy way to think about them.
ane li number sam li
Looking number so.
some ngak number ji yi number some.
That there's the easy way to think about it. There are the three of the body, the three non-virtues, the four non-virtues of speech, and the three non-virtues of mind.
저도 좀 onsi 야보였어서 ane sa chamba ni konla ne jejana ne tata hakures.
Lega.
저도 onsi 야보였어서 sa chamba ni konla jejana kaseres.
So if we count well, what's 3 plus 4?
7.
sa chamba ni konla jejana sa chamba ni de kasere. Song konla song nena.
So if you add the 2 that are 3 plus the 4, how much is 10? Oh,
sa chamba ni zete song konla song ane ti konla ji
3 and 4.
ane ta
You said it, no?
No,
Ale.
we forgot the lying.
Oh, I lied. Yeah.
ane ligi number 7 ti ja yo es ligi number 7.
So can you say what are the 3 of the body?
No
No
killing,
killing, no stealing,
no stealing,
no sexual
Without the no.
Stealing, killing, sexual misconduct.
Yeah, 다가랑.
ane ngak number ji ta tiso choma povi chucham zena ha kores.
So by abandoning the 10, then we engage in this ethical discipline. Do you know what ethical discipline means?
To do the opposite of the 10 non-virtues?
제도
Miguel
먹게야 저 pompi chuchan라 chuchazena 먹게야 저 pompi chuchazena 먹게야 저도 본네 디도서 추저송하지요라 데레스 저도 추저제나 타니티 츠니부텔 따디보세나 솔제나 솔제드제나 야부 레카 솔제드제나 레카 야부 치마치제제 참제나네 수그 처지지 비참디 가지 약간다만다 수수 참 다만다요라 참데카 약간 그 참데 처지카나 수수 전권은 로고 말아 녀자요 말아 어디노제 먹게야쪽 또 파포네 디로서 게야쳐도 차지도 소나 네 수중에서 좀 먹어도 수등은요 먹고 또 치바레스 초창제.
So this ethical discipline is the ethical discipline of abandoning the 10 non-virtues. That's the discipline. And the term ethical discipline in Tibetan is tultrim. Tul means good. It's the way of doing things is good. And then tim means it could mean a law. For example, in many countries we have all these sorts of laws. So it's abiding by those.
제또 가서 먹게야 저 pombeza 먹게야 게야도 먹게야 제때 제또 추가 타년지 창도라 마도 단다 먹게야 저 pombe 수차잖아. 티 아서 이제 지역 그 차송 거치레스 잠불에 저거 소말 창티도 소마던 거서는 수수긴 장건조도 니바데라 그래서 이나 개와도 먹게와도 게야자 타니티 추가 타니지라 마도 된달라 때 종가치보도 소마티 거서는 저거 차도 안에 가도 수술 마디아든지 용 그래서
So virtue and non-virtue are strictly dharma terms. And when we're talking about this ethical discipline of abandoning the 10 non-virtues, we are talking about this in these terms. However, there can be also the ethical discipline of abiding by the mundane worldly laws, which may not necessarily be related with these virtue and non-virtue dharma terms. But
수숙 사울도 거에서 jakka sayinanda, majimbayinanda, karasaulu tuwa hamuku amato. Ane ngaki namba, jeto liki namba sade, kiyo ku tsumaki chanchi kwanda uchi resa. Rendo esa. Pena iji namba sanzara, tanda mugyachana iji namba sande, majimba suzuki chibuki sawa mato, majimba hago mares ra kosalu karton ayo jakazan zambalis anta jaka chimboena choncho choba kazena go mares ina liji number sato ngak number jete mochiat chongandra tenderas joko chulubike chamashena tonga tenderas.
So as for the three non-virtues of the mind, these are related to our thought processes. Then it's hard for other people to say whether we have them or not. But the non-virtues of the body, the three of the body, and the four of the speech, then it can be easier for others to see and count.
네, 당가서 배반되지는 단다 jakama zenkom에 아마도 단다 이지 넘버서도 ngak number jiwa delikajem ketsuma zenko는 다르스. 배바가 살로 이나 배발 jak아요 말 zenko요 말 딘디살로도 나시라스게요 말.
So for us Tibetans, if we engaged in any of the three non-virtues of the body or the four non-virtues of the speech, then in our country we would be sent straight to jail. However, these days we Tibetans don't have a country and we don't have jails, so it doesn't matter much.
아니 저전은 수수 jakамanda 있어서 단다 디지 넘버서도 ngak number 지 디차와트서도 거선 네 청거스게라도 말해서.
So you are from many different countries. So if you were to transgress any of the three non-virtues of the body or the four of the speech, would you be sent to jail?
For some of them?
Yes.
No.
Especially
not the one of speech, no one would care.
Lugi Mikewa Denso Gana, the Chonra Jogire. Inayang Nagi Mikewa Denso Gana, Chonra Jogio Samare.
알아 전콜마게나 전콜로 말했어. ngak magiat songa na 전콜은 루마게나 청거스게라도 쓰고 말했어. 참동가.
So would you be, even if you are not sent to jail, would you be breaking any laws with these non-virtues of the speech?
No. Only if you do it on an extreme level.
전콜은 루고 말했다. 제도 야부 마사지라. 참동가.
Look, me as a German, I'm not allowed to say anything about Israeli politics because of our history, but otherwise I can lie and be harsh and no one cares.
So it depends on the situation whether you're...
Yeah, but it's just one topic in Germany that you can, but otherwise they don't care. I can lie the whole day. It's not against the law.
Ale, con Germany nere, ani kongi Israel ki chapsi ki korla labna de nyotra ragires. Yena yang de mato zun mambo shena ke amare.
Ale. Pena nganchanda chena tsitso chira. nganchela
직접
tsutsoyora. Pena ngandabuchi choro kumare, choro chabare, choro marare zene. Musitindi tsiti lausona ne ti chango chare to charmares.
So if I were to engage in harsh speech and tell you, for example, oh, you're not good, you're very ill-behaved or bad-tempered, would that get me in trouble?
No, there's something that we call free speech.
Free
so
speech?
You can literally say whatever you want.
¿Por qué tengo que saber free speech? Free speech. Tamshe.
Tamshe chumacha. Majoro. Majoro. Tashero. Diore.
Diore. Chetsang gran tsiksubiang shena de. ¿Qué vamos a
Ale majoro yores.
Tim Miguel.
Majoro yores. Tindi yesoza. ane ngachoro lan ramanda lao tindi chena. Paropu tsubasa to ane chinsono lan toma dia mende. Desha sa tindi kamshi yore to yomaras.
Yinka?
Pena ta majoro yores ra. Majoro zate tawshero zena majoro ze chibara. Te susu kar tete te she chogre to chomaras. Pena maso jaka yabu mares. la naso jaka nga jaka la maga susu jaka la maga susu jaka la chojo che tendi chana te tendi ko ron yora diamar major ron zate.
So even though there is this free speech, we have this free speech, is it okay to just say whatever you want, like saying, oh, this country, I don't like this country is bad, or are you allowed to say just whatever you want?
I can say to our president that you're like that he is a completely useless whatever. Like I could say mean words and no one would care. But I know it's really different for other countries. So I think, for example, Jen's country it would be different, huh?
In Taiwan, yeah, you can criticize president, no problem. But you cannot criticize Putin and Xi Jinping. I don't think you can criticize those two in their country. You are sent to jail.
Oh. Kongi lumbala. Sikion la yang kerang marable da tendes labna tigire. Mi kaya mare da puchik. Ani kongi lumbala yang Suzuki Sikion la kecha dukcha labna tigire yina yang Putin dang Xi Jinping ikola labna o de nyopchalagire.
Yeah. That thing as a taz Jean Chuchi.
That's okay, so we'll go back to the text now.
Just on your letter, I
don't want to bore you.
Ne ta Jion Rente tourist
So that's a way of thinking of small capacity beings.
Ane su ngile tharba thabi cheta damba jetembe ndona chiparta ane jion rekla tambarez tatsu ngile zana tharba thabas tharba thabala ane damba jala sobala la nya chetendi kala salusu tongate jion reres.
So these the sutras that teach the Four Noble Truths for obtaining definite goodness, the definite goodness of liberation, explain the path of the beings of medium scope. This word definite goodness means liberation from samsara, and this pertains to the beings of medium scope.
Chitota chewe chimodon drink langarambata jima jonki ngujika soma legret yana tanda kozo ngendrola tendi ndudi chitrendo ngatimachi.
So later we will go into great details with these types of beings, but now this is just a small introduction again. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll run out of time.
Jimala ne ngujela ta ne salu tonto kande ta jongo ngone ma roak taji ches tanda
So again, this is just a small introduction. Then later, when we go through this, that we will try to stick more to the text, and if we have any feedback on what we've been doing so far, or any questions or anything, we will try to answer, and if not, I will leave it here.
Zema.
Don't lie, you're lying.
Krishna answered about the non-virtues, virtues and 10 virtues and non-virtuous things. She answered in the chat.
Oh, okay. What's the question? How do
about the 10 non-virtues. So she just answered in the chat.
Oh, chatti. Yep. Miguel, what you Gashna kung Shakso. Hola, so.
And then my pay out on this. Yeah.